Hi everyone! Welcome to my video series VTuber on a Budget. I'm putting this series together at the request of a few other members of the VTubing community, as we frequently find ourselves being asked, how we started out as a VTuber, being people who are interested in the technology, or people who are unsure if this type of streaming or content creation might be right for them. So this series is being recorded as short videos. If you're catching this video on YouTube, there'll be a link to the video playlist down below. If you found it elsewhere, then my links are right above me right now. Oh, and a quick heads up, I do use a voice changer. It's a part of my character, and I have some other reasons for it, but I'll try to make sure the voice is as clear as possible. And if it does bother you, or if you're needing the extra help, there will be captions in the YouTube video feed. While there are many videos out there that cover specific topics, or even provide general guidance about VTubing and streaming in general, the aim of this particular series is to focus on providing a viable stream or content creation product for as close to free as possible. With that said, let's get started. So in this video, I'll be discussing probably the most hotly debated topic of all of VTubing: what model you should use. To that end, please bear with me. I'll only be talking about the actual objective benefits or negatives to each choice, and not discussing anything regarding the more subjective aspects of the various model types. I will also not be arguing if one type or another is a more real VTuber model. To me, all of these types are real VTubers. So, what are the options anyway? Okay, so let's talk about the three different model types I'll be discussing here. The first model type I shall be discussing are 3D models. These seem like the most complex of models as they're fully 3D rendered models. However, for many people, these are the simplest models to get started with. The second model type I shall be discussing is the so-called PNG tuber model. These are static or semi-static images that are very limited, but also very lightweight for your streaming system. And the third and final model I shall be discussing is the 2D models. These models are well liked among the more financially secure VTubers, but they are available to even those with limited budgets. So let's talk about using a 3D model. My model, well, over here, is a 3D model. It's fully rendered and can be adjusted to face however I want it to. It was made using a program called VTuber Studio, which is currently free on Steam as of February 2023. And then I did some modifications to it using another program which allows for improved facial tracking. And I use a free program called VC Face to animate the model, and an iPhone running VTuber Studio for face or upper body tracking, and a Leap Motion device to track my hands. My current model has been modified and updated from my original VTuber model, but it's otherwise fairly standard. For a new VTuber, the 3D model is the easiest to get started if you have no prior artwork or animation experience, as you can download VTuber Studio for free. You can create an avatar using their toolset. It's like playing dress up with dolls, or creating an MMO character, really. And then you just export the created avatar. You then run VC Face and animate it using that and set things up and stuff. So the simplest way to animate this for use with a stream or content creation is to just have the mouth move based on your microphone inputs. So you get no facial tracking or body movement, but it also requires no additional hardware other than just having a microphone. With a camera of some variety, either a webcam or a phone camera, you can add tracking for face and upper body motions, and most people have some form of camera they can use. The phone option is actually pretty good. I use an old iPhone 10 running VTuber Studio, which is free to use with VC Face for doing this. But if you want to do 2D models, it does cost money. VTuber Studio also has an application for Android that works pretty good too, and it's also free for the same functionality. Using an external device like this has an advantage that Instead of using a webcam or something else, the low-end system doesn't have to figure out the tracking necessarily. It just gets fed, the system just gets fed tracking data. So yeah, it's less work for the computer that you're creating the content on. There are also other options for 3D models. So if you happen to know Blender or some other 3D modeling tool, you can just create a 3D model in those programs, rig them for use with a program like VCFace, and then you'll have a very distinctive model that's pretty much different than anybody else. Not everyone has those skills though. So it's likely, if you want to go that route, that you'd have to pay someone to make such a model for you. This option is not cheap because you're dealing with a full 3D model render. So yeah, there's that. The biggest advantage of this method is that you can be up and running with a working model without needing any artistic talent yourself within a few hours if you use VRoid Studio and create it yourself. The biggest disadvantage of this model type is that the 3D avatar rendering software can use a lot of system resources on your content creation computer, so it can make it difficult to streamline. So let's now talk about the PNG tuber model type. These are probably the simplest form of VTuber model out there. However, you need to have some minimum required skills or costs involved to get such a model. Specifically, you need your artwork created by someone, which can either be yourself if you're artistically inclined, a friend if you have someone willing to create such for you for free, or you can pay to have artwork made for your content. And actually, about that, let's stick a pin in that and we'll talk about that in a bit later in the video as well. So the very simplest way to use such art is just to slap the images up on screen somewhere, you know? Let's do that. So yeah, here's an image. There you go. Slap it up. That's it. You're done. You've got no movements, no changes, nothing showing that you're speaking, just an image that is static and is you, the content. You may have even seen some YouTube channels do this thing as reaction shots between other segments. A more functional method is to have two slightly different or even very different images, and use an extension to Discord that lets you show images when people are talking. It's called Discord Reactive Images. This lets you have a very basic image on your content without needing to run any special programs other than Discord on your computer. There are also some special programs that let you have a far more expressive model of this nature, including some movement, different expressions, changes of model and clothing, and more things like that. The biggest benefit for this type of model is that there's minimal need to run additional software on your content creation computer, but the biggest disadvantage is that you need to have the images for these models. Which means you either need some skill of your own to create the pitches, or you need to pay someone else to create the pitches that you need. So 2D models are an interesting situation. As of when I'm recording this, in February 2023, there are a few commercial products to create 2D models, one of which has a free version, and a new open source program set that has been released pretty recently. No matter which option, however, all of these models start in the same place, the artwork itself. Now, the artwork needed for a 2D model is far more labor-intensive than a model needed for a PNG model. The reason for this is quite simple. The model is expected to be able to move on screen and will even track facial features and show expressions, and it can have all sorts of extra functionality. Each of these artwork pieces, therefore, involve multiple layers of art, many different connection points, and large amounts of thought needs to go into the creation of the model. However, rather than just talk about it, let me show you a 2D model. Okay, so this is one of the 2D models I created for my streams. As you can see, the wings beat, the tail swishes, the ears move, the mouth moves, the eye moves, to my talking and just how I move my mouth. And as well as this, the entire body actually moves, as you can see. And the legs, you may also notice, are not quite, they actually move as well with the model as well. So this particular model was a couple of days of work. And it's a simple model created using the free version of one of the commercial products. More complex model movements and options are available, but all of them require more and more work to make them fully functional, which means they are more time or more money. It's not unheard of for a basic 2D model rig being upwards of $2,000. And that's with the artwork being provided to the person doing the rigging. Now, if you have your own artistic talent and the ability or interest to have the technical knowledge, it's entirely possible to draw and rig your own 2D model. It just takes some time and effort. And if you're willing to put in that effort and that time, I greatly recommend it if this is the model type that you're interested in dealing with, because it'll be your model. Nobody will have ever had anything to do with it. It's something you can easily and very readily just modify as you want to. Either as your skills improve in your art or your technical ability, or, I don't like this shade of purple, let's say, and you could just change it because you want to. On the other hand, if you have huge piles of money and no skills, then these types of models do have the current largest batch of supportive options of all the model types. So feel free to send some money out there to the appropriate starving artists. And also, not all artists who do the rigging charge high fees. Just don't expect necessarily quick and instantaneous turnaround times if you're not paying for it. So the biggest advantage of this model type is it is sort of the largest supported by all the extra programs that are out there. But the biggest disadvantage is it's very technical, it's very art intensive, it's very skill intensive, and so therefore it can be one of the more expensive if you don't have those skills yourself. So a couple of times now I've mentioned the idea of having artwork created for your content by an artist. I should very much mention here that not all artists create art that, even when you pay for it, that you're allowed to use for generating content. And no, I don't mean something like not safe for work art. That's an entirely different story. I mean, literally, some artists sell their art under a license that states you can't use it for anything that would generate income. It's a non-commercial use license. Content creation can generate income. It's considered commercial use, and is therefore one of the use cases you aren't allowed to use such art under. Therefore, if you're getting art made for your content creation usage, make sure to request it to be for commercial use. And even explain what you want to use it for. So if you want to use it as your PNG model, say, I want to use it as my PNG to represent my me on my streams. That's it. And some artists may just say, nope, I won't do that work. I won't do commercial work. And, that's up to them. There are many artists out there. I'm sure one will do it for you. And then we get to the second issue. Using art that you found online. In this case, you don't have a license to use that for commercial use. This can lead to many issues. And, you are running the risk of having legal ramifications for doing such things. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not studying law. I can recommend a couple of YouTube channels that talk about law and are lawyers. There's also some streamers that are lawyers, but honestly, I think the best bet is to just make sure up front that everything you've got the license for it, you've got it written down in writing, and you're fine. So yeah, I think that's just an important thing to mention about this sort of stuff is a lot of this art does come with special licenses. Pay attention to them. So to wrap up this video, we have 3 different options we can follow to create our avatar for creating our content. We have a 3D model option, a static image option, and a 2D model option. We still have $300 of our budget remaining because in this video we just looked at what the options were. We didn't actually do anything or spend any money. Spent money. Next video we'll be creating a 3D model and we'll be setting it up so we can use it with our content creation software. So thank you for watching, and if you're catching this anywhere that's relevant, please like, subscribe, follow, hit that dingly bit, and all the other jazz that goes on out there. And I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.